Okay, this is my next build that I'm calling the bubble-headed booby build. It's the B9 robot. It's a Moebius kit. This is the original Moebius kit that came out for the 50th anniversary of the Lost in Space television show. Later on this year, or perhaps the beginning of next year, they're coming out with a deluxe version of this kit that actually has the glass bubble top. Two versions of that glass bubble top are coming out. One with the internal parts and one without the internal parts. The one without is $13. The one with internal parts is around $30. The only question I have is the one with the internal parts already pre-wired for you? Because if it isn't, there's not going to be any way that I'm aware of to wire or light the bubble-headed boob. So the only choice you'd have is you'd have to stick to the original kit like this one that comes in two different sections, and of course you're going to have that nasty seam line across the top. So those are your choices. So let's take a very quick look at some of the internal parts of this kit, and then we're going to get started on this build. Alright, I got some parts pulled out, the important parts pulled out. We'll take a quick look at those. We're not going to go through all the parts here on this. Mainly, this is the upper torso part here, and everything fits together really well. They have some photo etch that goes along in through the bottom section of the torso here. 4 pieces of photo etch that go in through there. You're going to need to roll this a little bit to get it to fit into these concave slots, so keep that in mind. But the overall fit of the upper torso is very, very good. All you got to do is just press it and the seam disappears. You can't even barely see it, and by the time you hit the liquid cement on there, it's going to disappear completely. The other part that I want to go through is the actual bubble top. This is the plastic version, so it's going to be in 2 pieces. You got that nasty seam line you're going to have to deal with. I'm going to use canopy glue if I use this way of going. Now the open question, which I do not know, is on the glass. There's got 2 different versions of the glass bubble that are coming out sometime this year. One without the internal parts, one with the internal parts. And the question is, since you don't have access to the internals of this glass top that they're coming out with, is it pre-wired for you? And if not, then you're screwed. There's no way to wire it that I'm aware of. So just have to wait and see when they come out. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead with the initial build. These are the two different arms choices that come with the kit. And as I understand it, these basically snap in, snap out. They've got the extended arm here and the retracted arm here. In the beginning, there were some model builders who were really freaking out about this seam line, and they were going to take painstaking days, possibly even weeks, trying to fill this in and whatnot. However, if they had watched the TV show a little bit more closely, they would have seen on the actual show, and it really sticks out like a sore thumb on their Blu-ray DVD, is this seam line is there. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about it. Same thing with the lower leg section, trunk here. This seam line is extremely visible in the television series. So there again, I'm not going to worry about that. Now, as far as the painting is concerned, I'm going to start painting the arms first, one arm, and see if I run into any issues with the paint adhering to it. If there's no issues, I'm going to continue on and use like a smoke color to it. Now, the manual is only 6 steps. and they start you out with the head assembly, and they give you the color calls as you're going along, and they also give you what color the SMDs are supposed to be if you're going to light it. And moving on to step 2, they move on to the neck assembly. Very simple assembly there, no real issues. Then it moves on to the torso on the assembly part number 3. Chest plate, photo etch, and then here at the bottom is the power pack. Moving on to step 4, the arm assemblies. So, like I said, you got the 2 different versions of the arms. Moving on to step number 5, which is the tread assembly. Color calls: gloss aluminum, charcoal gray for the actual treads, flat aluminum. Everything's called out for you as you're going along, which is beautiful. You don't have to keep flipping to the front page to look for what colors go where. And in the final step, the final assembly, and on this section, they're telling you what not to glue as you're putting it together, which is very important because this top torso part has to swivel back and forth. So be mindful of that as you're doing the assembly. And then on the back for the decals, very small decal sheet comes with this, and then what they do is they give you chest light numbers and the call outs for what each number, what these press buttons are for. They also have more decals for this lower section here, for the tape rewind and all the other stuff. What color calls go for that. And then there's a more detailed look at the power pack colors, and there may even be some decal placements in here as well. So that's pretty much a very quick homogenized look at the bubble-headed booby build. Okay, then I'm going to tack this on to the original introduction video of the B9 robot. This is the lighting kit for it that I purchased some years back. This is the Starling version they're offering. Tenna Controls also has their own version, as well as McLabs. That's usually sold on Cultman TV. This one here is a plug-and-play unit. It's the Life Force 2.0, and that just merely means you don't have to do any soldering or anything like that, but you still have to do some assembly to it as you're moving along. This particular unit has the mechanical device sounds, the background sounds of the robot as it's just sitting there. And then it's got the speaking mode with 17 phrases of the first, second, third seasons of the television show. So basically, in the kit, well, first of all, you get a downloadable manual on how to construct this thing. It's 29 pages long. He sends it to you after you purchase the item, and then you just print it off. And it's just various instructions of what you need to do, how many volts this thing uses. It's 4.5 volts to run the whole system, and it clearly and then it gets into the stages of how you need to prep the model, where you can put the board, what modifications you need to do, if any. It shows you right there. More modifications of getting the wiring through. Board placements as you're moving along. There's several boards that need to be contended with addition of a couple of speakers. Here's the front chest control panel as it's installed, and then you'll have to add your decals on this that come with the kit. Several other modifications to the tape receiver. And then there's some stock plastic cut board that you're going to need. And this is for the chest part area where the speaking voice flashes. You're going to need this. And that's how it's installed into the chest cavity right there. This is a magnetic switch reed. There's examples of it in use. And then here's fiber optics or small SMDs leading up to the glass bubble head. A couple of little minor modifications you need to do here. And there's a tube you need to add in here. It's a 3/16 inch, just a plastic plastic tube. And some more minor drilling along the way. How you set up the brain controls here for the 3 bulbs that go in there. And then there's another control board that just goes underneath the collet right here. Here you can see the chest plate area. Here's a better example of what you're dealing with here. These are the amber LEDs right here. And this black tubing is included into the kit. And then there's 3 or 4 more variable LEDs in here that fit on the top. Those will be in white. And then of course here's the spinning top up here. Of course this kit doesn't have any motorized effects, so this will be just stagnant. There's the speaker inside the chest cavity, along with the secondary board for speech. And then there's another board that will run into the base where the mechanical sounds of the robot will be housed in. So it's going to start getting quite crowded in here as you're doing your final finishes. This is the flash bar right here that's for the chest plate. And here they're suggesting that you use magnets. They tell you what size, 1/4 inch hole for them. Access the power pack. Now theoretically with this kit, when you use this option, these magnets activate the power pack inside the model to turn it on and off. I'll explain more than that when I get into that. And then this is the final board right here for the mechanical sounds. That'll be usually put into a bass type situation. And then a thank you letter for buying the kit. So basically what you get is you get this black tubing for the spokes of the top of the bubble with the amber lights. And then this here is the chest plate with all the pre-assembled, ready to go, just needs to be hooked up to the power supply. This is the speech bar across the top right here. So that's already pre-installed, ready to go, total installed here. This will be your power base. 3 AAA 1.5 volt batteries. And then this is the magnetic reed switch. Nope, sorry about that. That is just a plug in to the secondary soundboard. Now with this kit you can opt just to get the main sound, which is the robot talking and his phrases. So I purchased that, but you can also purchase this as well, which is the second soundboard, and it says mechanical right on there. That's just the robot standing there making his usual noises as he's just sitting around. And there's the hookup harness right there, and that hooks up right here. And then your incidentals right here. You've got the magnets right here, the tubing for the neck area. You've got some Velcro. So everything's in the kit that you'll need. Now, this whole package here is $146 plus shipping. That's what his current price is on McLab. If you get the McLab, which only has the chest plate lights, no sound, no nothing, it's $90. If you go with the McLab version from another company. Antenna controls is around the $150 range as well, and he also offers up 16 or 17 different voice selections and all that, except his does not offer the mechanical background noise. So that's pretty much a wrap as far as the lighting kit's concerned. I'll tag this onto the original video I shot this morning of the open box of the B9 robot, and move on from there.